What I'm looking at here is a protected copse of young silver birches, and it's kind of early April and they're just springing into life. There's so much vibrant green. Silver birches, aspens, all of those kind of species have got these lovely bright trunks, and today you can see it's quite bright, and whilst there's a whole load of trunks here and not a great deal of dark to contrast against, we can kind of work on that to a degree by underexposing a little bit or being very, very selective in what we're looking at. It's difficult to get in here because there's a fence all around it. And so what I mean is you can't get in here. It's prohibited. So I've got to shoot from the perimeter, which of course means that I have limited options. But it's not all just kind of silver birch thicket. Every now and again there are gaps. You can see little bits and bobs. And what I've decided to focus my lens on is this cut off one just over here that's was kind of like that and then wanted to go like that, but it's been cut off so the angle kind of comes off, and a kind of new branchy trunk is coming off in much the same direction as the original trunk was going. It's an interesting shape, but positioning is awkward. The point is that because of the angle of this, it's not all just straight up and down, and with careful positioning, careful positioning, I can get pretty much just this one tree and isolate it against the others, because what I don't want is lots of these other bright white trunks kind of sticking in the way. I've left this on a timer from when I was using this on carpet a week or so ago. I haven't shot photos in a week or so. It's been difficult. So anyway, that's just gone. What I wanted to say about this is that isolating something in a space like this is obviously awkward, but luckily I've managed to do it here. And the composition puts the tree on a diagonal through it. As you can see, it's a portrait orientation, and I'm keeping the sky out of it because it has absolutely no need to be there. Let me know what you think. Something you may have heard me say in the past about tripod bags is I don't understand why every tripod you buy comes with a tripod bag, because I never see anybody using them. But I've discovered actually they're not as stupid as they seem. Now I can't for the life of me understand why I've never tried this before, but variety is one of those things that a lot of people kind of shy away from, because we know what we like and we like what we know, and change can be very difficult. Hell, I know this is more than most. I can get terribly anxious about lots of things, and not because there's a real fear particularly, or likely to be a real problem, or very rarely has there ever been a real problem, but it's that anticipation, it's that something might go wrong. So we stick to what we know until we're forced to change. Now, I wasn't forced to change. iFootage was very kind and sent me this Gazelle travel tripod, and it came with this rather nice bag. I like the colour. And it's just a pouch, and perhaps that's one of the reasons I like it. It's because it's very easy in and out. And that's probably doing a disservice to a number of other bags or tripod bags, but I felt, okay, why did I start using it? I think I started using the bag because when I got it, I didn't do an unboxing, so I haven't got any images of this thing. in its kind of pristine condition. And I've been using it on and off for maybe a few weeks. But as I said earlier, I haven't done a lot of photography, so it hasn't had many outings. And yeah, the reason I put it in the bag is purely because I wanted it to stay in the best possible condition. And actually, I think the first time I used it, I was probably carrying something else as well. So being able to sling this over my shoulder was really quite important. And it's, yeah, again, habit. It's stayed in the bag ever since. So now that winter is completely behind us, we're into the generally brighter days of spring, aren't we? And perhaps it's entirely the wrong time to come to the woodland for any kind of photography, because well, if you don't know, you should. Bright sunny days aren't ideal for woodland unless you just change your approach. And yeah, one of those simple approaches is just work with the detail. Always in woodland anyway, I'm looking more for shapes than anything else. And I'm always on the lookout for contrast. Now, we've had a bit of colour contrast with the greens and the whites on the birches, which are all over this side of me on the right as I walk. And silver birches, as I'm walking through here, you probably see a number of them are again providing various bits of contrast. And I'm thinking, if I can find the right shapes, or yeah, actually, I kind of like this here, actually. Yeah. Tip, said it before, say it again, everyone says this, I'm sure, and you're probably sick of people saying it. Look behind you, always look behind you. So what I've come and seen here behind me, and I don't know whether there's a composition yet, but these two silver birches here, where they kind of fork out at V's at the bottom. I wonder if there's something there. So somewhere kind of around here, in my mind's eye, is kind of working. In the viewfinder, it's kind of working. It needs finessing, it needs absolute precision. It doesn't need me wobbling around. So it's time for the tripod again. Now, you hear a lot of people, YouTubers, saying how they don't feel that they need a tripod, or you want a tripod. Trying to see somewhere to hang that, put it on the floor. Because of dynamic abilities, or perhaps their camera stabilization, all of these things. And I'm not going to call anybody out, because you do what you want. But why I use a tripod is for compositions like this that need precision, that need me to not move and wobble, that have very tight tolerances on the location of things. So perhaps if you're out in the mountains somewhere, an inch or two one way or the other doesn't make a great deal of difference, but an inch or two here makes the shot or fouls it up entirely. Well, I'll be honest, I don't think that worked. I've been stood here maybe 10 minutes farting about, and when I really started looking at the composition through a viewfinder or the screen, what I thought was there I don't think was, and I think it ended up a bit confusing. I don't normally shoot woodland in black and white, so that was a choice, an interesting choice. I mean, it might work, but what I found was, the sun's gone behind a cloud now, but what I found was, when I was first looking at these, the sun was kind of catching the bottom of these two trees quite nicely and illuminating them, and wasn't catching the background quite so much, or at least that's what I think I saw. But when I kind of got composition dialed in on the tripod, and initially I was right by this tree, and I've kind of moved back to get various things, and then I saw these two shapes straight down here. Hold on. I'm running. Just this is to stay a speed ramp in the edit. So there. I won't run anymore because you'll complain that I'm heavy breathing. These trees here, they've got similar shapes to them, and I kind of thought that might work. And the light's everything here, because if the light catches the thing that you're trying to photograph, you're in business. As long as it's not catching everything else. If the light was catching it and then stops, then your effort of setting up is in vain. And that's kind of what I think happened here. Either that or it's just rubbish to start with. I'll put it up. You can let me know what you think. This is shot at 2.8 to get that background as soft as possible, to make it as meaningless as possible. But I just don't think it worked. In black and white, it was just a mess of black and white. The colour helps define it a little bit, and the processing I think helps, but it's certainly not my best work. Now, I don't plug the 617 Club nearly enough. It's an online photographic club that's run by Simon Baxter, Thomas Heaton, and they've recently enlisted Sudan Mary as well to help out. And these, of course, are all well-known people on YouTube. It's basically run by people you can trust. Now, I'm a member, I'm a fully paid member, and I find the camaraderie, the sharing of images, the sharing of locations and information, and all of these kind of things, that the group meetups and everything, I find them so useful. It can sometimes be difficult to find local people to you who are interested in the same things, and therefore sometimes photography is a little bit lonesome. I thoroughly recommend it, the 617, because even if you're not necessarily meeting people on a regular basis, they have weekly live streams on a Monday. There's further presentations, live streams by members on a Thursday now, and once a month they have other really big names like Nick Carver and Joe Cornish and such presenting as well. It's really, really valuable. One of the things that's incredibly valuable as well is their weekly, not weekly, it's called a weekender. It's it's not even a competition, let's not call it a competition, but it's a challenge. It's a photo challenge that takes place and starts kind of midday on a Friday and runs to kind of close of play on a Monday. And it just gives you a topic to go out and take a photograph of. And that's what I'm doing now, because it's given me an idea. Now, I'm not going to stand here and pretend that coming up with ideas for photographs is always that easy. Sometimes you just need someone to suggest something, and the Weekender as part of the 617 Club is really good for that. This month's topic is fresh, and of course, if you want to go and borrow that, it's just a word. Interpret it as you like, but I've interpreted it as a bit of greenery, and I've been looking around. There's loads of it around, of course, but a bit of breeze every now and again, and it just, if you're trying to get some detail in it, then you've got to go macro, haven't you? And whilst this tripod is not the most ideal thing for macro, it's all I have, and I'm using it. I didn't come out with the idea of taking macro. If I had done, I would have bought a very different tripod. But when you're in the woods and you spy something that deserves a close-up photo, it's what you do. If I ever forget to come out with the macro lens, I always find something that makes me regret doing it, which is why I carry so much gear with me most of the time. I realise I still haven't really reviewed the K&F backpack down there. I'll get around to it, but hey, I think you can probably guess by the fact I'm still using it a couple of months later that I'm actually finding it really, really good. I mean, it's not perfect, but you don't expect perfect for the kind of cost it is. But I'll get around to talking more about that another time. Macro, you see it? I didn't put it there. I found it there. Maybe somebody else put it there, or maybe it floated there. I don't know. But it's just really, really nice. And again, I'm supposed to be kind of bigging this up. This iFootage Gazelle TAC3, I think it is. So it's been put it on one of the legs. TA3B. Yeah. Anyway, I'm supposed to be bigging it up, and I'm not dissing it anyway. I really do love this thing. It is so well made. You can feel the quality just picking it up. But the leg locks, the fact it's pretty much all metal. It looks good. It operates beautifully. It's got a bowl head. I love the bowl head for just wonderful leveling. It's great, but it's not perfect for macro. I can't have everything. It's as light as a feather. Well, it's not quite as light as that feather, and it's not as light as the as you can see on the backpack down there, the 3-well carbon fibre one. But I think it's probably 500 grams more than the 3-well, so it's not heavy. I really do like it, but the head on it is a Komodo K3, which is far more of a video centric head than a photographic centric head. So yeah, perhaps not ideal for that, but again, not difficult to use. And it's probably more awkward for me because I'm more used to a ball head these days. But anyway, we'll talk about the tripod in more detail another time. Well, I shot it with mono in mind, but when I got it into the edit suite, it just looked better in colour. There's not a lot of colour there, but there's a big difference between having it and not, in this instance and in my opinion. Shortly after taking this image, it started raining. There was rain forecast. It wasn't heavy, but I thought I'd better get back to the car. And on the way, I did a bit more of a circular route, and I took some more images prior to this that I hadn't put on camera. So I'll run you out with some of those in a moment. What I want to say about the location is that, I kind of identified early on that with the weather being as it was at the time, really rather sunny, it wasn't the most ideal location to perhaps go and create something. That's okay, because there's always an opportunity somewhere. You've just got to eke it out, and there's a point going to be made about that in the members section on one of these images as well. The issue really for me is that I didn't plan this video. I don't plan a lot of the videos. Sometimes I have an idea in my head and I just go out and create something. And I was already in this area. I had to go to this particular area to pick something up that I purchased on Facebook Marketplace, and I was conscious that the place that I was going to, or ended up, was quite local to where I was in Norwich. It's the Broadland Country Park, at least that's what I think it's called. And I was unconscious of the area completely beforehand. I saw it on someone's Facebook or social media post a little while ago. I thought, oh heck, where's that? Because with the name Broadland, I was thinking kind of east of Norwich, and it's not. It's kind of northwest of Norwich, and it's rather nice. And I've not really explored it very much. So I went there really with the expectation of just exploring an area, which I really didn't get to see a great deal of. But the point that I want to make is that just going out with your camera, whether or not you have an expectation of getting an image, or images or whatever, it should be secondary, because what you should be chasing is the experience of finding things, the experience of going to places that perhaps you haven't been before, or revisiting places that you have been to see things that you haven't seen before, because that's always going to happen. I get bored with places, I'm sure you do. And this is one of the reasons we try to expand our horizons. We go to places we haven't been before, and often we tend to feel that those places might need to be a long way away. They don't have to be. Now, the thing with the Broadland Country Park is that it's woodland mostly. So whilst I may see particular things that I haven't seen before, I'm going to be seeing things that I'm familiar with. Trees, flowers, leaves, shapes, these kind of things. The more I get to understand how to create images in these kind of spaces, the more diverse kind of spaces that I could get into that are similar, then I can start employing all of those learned techniques and skills in any place that is a woodland or a forest and such. And as uninspired as you might be by keep going back to your same woodland because you perhaps know it like the back of your hand, or I use woodland interchangeably with any area here. It could be the same underground station, it could be the same streets, the same walkways, the same anywhere. The more you become familiar with these things, and the more you can transpose the skills that you've learned in a particular location and use them in a different location, arguably almost regardless of where that location happens to be. One woodland is very similar to another woodland, therefore skills that you're using one can be used in another. One train station is very similar to another train station, therefore the skills that you've learned in that train station can be transposed and used in another train station. Same with street photography, same with any kind of genre, and in actual fact, of course, you can get some crossover as well. The point that I'm trying to make is really just get out with your camera and practice, because you just won't get better unless you do. I'm going to run out with some of these other images, and thanks very much for watching. Buy me a coffee, join, like, subscribe, all of that kind of stuff, and enjoy some more images. This image you're going to see in a moment is featured in the member area of my channel, and the reason it is because I explain why I took the image, because it didn't start out looking like this, as you can probably imagine. If you'd like to see more videos on a weekly basis, there's normally one that will be attached directly to the public video each week, and quite often there'll be one in the middle of the week as well. If you'd like to see those, please become a member. There's a link somewhere down below this video.